you doing?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was supposed to be Saturday Night Live's portrayal of Hillary Clinton in their opening monologue there, or the opening scene to the show. It was quite funny. We'll do it in a Give Me Five later in the week. Don't worry about it. Joining us now on the Malzberg panel. Oh, we got it? All right, let's roll it. What the heck?
Go ahead. Read them. You won't find Jack Rodham squat. My work emails are professional, and my emails with friends are innocent and fun. Like this one, a friend wrote to me, "Hey girl, still up for a movie tonight? I heard that new Bradley Cooper one is hot. What do you want to see?" And I responded with, "I want to see myself as President of the United States of America." See? Just fun woman talk.
All right, there's more to that. Anyway, joining us on the Malzberg panel, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by myself, is Noelle Nikpour, Republican strategist, political consultant, and author of Branding America, and the host of the syndicated Roger Hedgecock radio show, The Roger Hedgecock Show, Roger Hedgecock. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
Welcome to you as well, Noelle. And let's start with these emails. And you know, when Dianne Feinstein comes out, Roger, and says, you know, Hillary has to do something, when the New York Times headline and the Washington Post page 1 are, you know, knocking Hillary and raising questions about Hillary, this is gaining a lot of traction, is it not?
It sure is, Steve, and I'll tell you what, I think when Feinstein comes out, she's the ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and Intelligence. You look at this impact, and you say, wait a minute, where is this coming from? Because all the leaks, all of the demands are basically coming from Democrats and from the Obama mainstream media, New York Times, Washington Post, etc. Now, Trey Gowdy also weighed in saying, look, we've got a bunch of these emails, but there's a huge gap around the Benghazi situation, which she still hasn't disclosed. And the New York Times said, yes, in fact, the 55,000 pages is a lot, but it isn't all of them. The law requires all of them to be in the State Department's hands, and that's the issue, I think, today.
Noelle, I mean, you're a strategist, and you know, you understand branding. What does this do to the Hillary brand?
Well, you know, first of all, Bill and Hillary Clinton, both of the Clintons have what I like to call a Teflon brand. They can do anything. Nothing has managed to stick on them. I mean, think about it. You've got Benghazi, and then you had Monica Lewinsky on Bill. I mean, both of them as a family. They seem to just like slip and slide through all kinds of horrible things that would normally take one person out. They have a lot of the Whitewater. I mean, just think about all the things they've been through when she worked at the Rose Law Firm, all the files missing, and the
grand jury testimony where she didn't remember. And Roger, I think it was George Will, gave one of the greatest lines of all time. The Clintons could find a loophole in a stop sign.
Which is exactly right, I agree. But I'll tell you one issue the New York Times is raising that they may not glide away from, and that's the whole women's issue. Her whole campaign is based on women's rights, equality of pay, and all that. And yet here she's taking tens of millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia, from the United Arab Emirates, from Kuwait, from places where women have about as many rights as a goat. I mean, this is an incredible situation, which I think is going to undermine the whole premise of her candidacy.
Absolutely. Noelle, you know, first we thought she wasn't taking, the foundation was not taking any donations when she was Secretary of State. Then we found out there was a deal with the Obama administration that grandfathered countries who gave before were grandfathered in. One country, though, was not, and they may have violated that rule. But how does it look to women that a foundation pays 60 cents on the dollar, women to men, that the 8 top wage earners in the foundation are men, and that, again, they're taking money from these countries that really repress the heck out of women?
Well, you know, Hillary did say one thing. She said it's time for a woman president. She didn't realize that maybe she was talking about Elizabeth Warren. I mean, you know, I do think that she has a point with trying to say, you know, breaking through glass ceilings. That's bad. The foundation took the money, you know, from people that are not supportive to women's rights. But the other thing is she's raising money off the backs of men on behalf of women breaking through ceilings. So, you know, she's really a little bit of a hypocrite there. Yeah,
well, very quickly, Roger, you think Elizabeth Warren will ever jump in?
The pressure is increasing. It certainly is from the left that always, aside from the issues we've talked about, have always been very suspicious of Hillary Clinton because they don't think she's left enough. So I think this is going to be a continuing drama here with Elizabeth Warren.
Noelle, 10 seconds, yes or no? Did she get in?
I think Elizabeth Warren, if MoveOn.org had anything to do with it, get her in.
All right. When we come back, what did Republican senators write to Iran? And what was the White House response? We'll tell you when we come back on the panel. Don't go away. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back Noelle Nikpour and Roger Hedgecock to the Malzberg panel, part 2. 47 Republican senators. I'm disappointed they all didn't join in, and I'm disappointed, but not surprised that not one Democrat joined in, sent a letter to Iran, warning Iran that any agreement they might reach with the President of the United States will be in danger of not being in existence once President Obama is out of office, and that it needs the approval of the Senate, and it may not get it, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting response from the White House that I happened to catch out of the corner of my eye before we came into this segment. The White House said, isn't it interesting that the Republicans in the Senate are siding with, and I'm paraphrasing here, the hardliners in Iran, who I assume don't think the deal is good enough either for their own reasons. So he's trying to marry the hardliners in Iran with the Republican Party here. Roger, I mean, good for the Republicans in the Senate. I just wish, like I said, all of them would have signed on. This won't have any effect, though.
Well, it might. Now, it's infuriating to the Obama administration, Steve, that the Constitution would be quoted. Article 2, Section 2, subparagraph 2, gives the Senate the final say, two-thirds vote, on any executive agreement that's going to become a treaty. An important distinction, because a treaty is the supreme law of the land when it is approved by the Senate. Otherwise, it's simply a piece of paper signed by a transitory president, which this letter, 47 signatories to it, and organized, by the way, by Tom Cotton, who's a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan and knows very well what the Iranian regime is all about, an Iranian regime which has taken over this war in Iraq against ISIS, by the way. So it's a situation in which obviously the Republicans are saying to the Iranians, but also to the American public and to the president, look, follow the Constitution.
What about it, Noelle? I mean, good for Tom Cotton. I think he's fantastic. I know you know him. Yeah. And also, this comes on the heels of Netanyahu's very educational and passionate speech.
I thought it was fantastic. Bravo to Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton is going, look for him to do a lot of these things. He is his own man. The fact that he actually boots on the ground fought over in the Middle East, I mean, my hat's off to him. And I've got to say, basically what he was saying is this is an agreement between Obama and Ayatollah. I mean, and it can be taken away, which I think is beautiful. And of course, the White House administration, of course they're upset about that, but that's what we elected, Tom Cotton and a lot of the U.S. senators that signed that, that's what we elected them to do, is take charge.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I really hope that this does stir things up over there in Iran when push comes to shove. But I don't know. But time will tell, and we'll see how that works out. I did want to bring up this Saudi man who is facing death for ripping up a Quran and renouncing Islam. This is facing death not at the hands of some, poor, impoverished Muslims who have no job, but from the state, from the government of Saudi Arabia, Roger. And this just speaks volumes, to what is wrong with Islam in these countries.
They have no tolerance whatsoever for any kind of diversity, because anything other than an adherence to the Quran and Sharia law is obviously an infidel, obviously going against God's will, and they have that kind of 7th century view. And of course, then it calls into question Muslims who come to this country and demand tolerance for their views. We would like to see some reciprocity and I was talking to a guy who was at the embassy in Saudi Arabia in the previous decade, and he said, look, we had to go to religious service, Christian service, in the embassy itself. We couldn't go anywhere else because we were guarded by Marines to protect our freedom of religion in that American embassy, and that's the only way we could get Christian services. No Bible is even allowed. It's a crime to have a Bible in Saudi Arabia. So this is an extreme fundamentalist 7th century regime that too often we're in bed with, and I'm unhappy about it every time.
Yeah, Noelle, when our soldiers went over there, we got 30 seconds, they couldn't wear crosses or Stars of David either.
Yeah, this is why we need to make sure that we are an avid ally even though Obama says that we need to make sure that we strengthen that relationship with Israel, because that's the only place where Christians can be Christians and women can prosper.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Noelle Nikpour and Roger Hedgecock, thank you both. Appreciate it. Coming up next, it's Gimme 5. Wait till you see what Obama has said over and over again.